in the cut like rubbing alcohol. Shaded up with a girl or two, not a worry at all. I'm with them niggas in LA that you know about.
So tell me, peeps, are you guys convinced now? Are you convinced that Margarito was illegal in his bout about 3 years ago? Are you convinced now? Did the punches that he landed on Cotto have the same effect as they did 3 years ago? You know, we could turn around and twist it and say, well, Cotto didn't fight the same way he fought a couple years ago or whatnot. And in a way, no, he didn't. But also there were moments where Margarito was landing up close. He was close to him and he was landing. He was landing specific punches up close. Some of the same punches he landed a few years ago, that uppercut inside. A few times he landed it. But just getting into the fight and analyzing the fight, Miguel Cotto did a great job. He stayed on his toes. He hit Margarito with a decent assortment of punches. Fought behind the jab. Early on in the fight, in that first round, I thought he was going to go to the body more, but he did have an occasional punch to the body from time to time. And his punches were just more solid and connected much better than Margarito punches. I'm pretty sure that everybody that walked into this fight, and everybody that wanted to see this fight, that the fans of boxing, were very biased towards Miguel Cotto. I even said in my prediction a few months ago that it was a biased prediction, which is rare for me to even have a biased prediction. But when the fight came on, I was wanting Miguel Cotto to win, and I was wanting Miguel Cotto to go in and dominate. And pretty much to me, some of the questions were answered to me, just because there were punches that Margarito had thrown that didn't have the same effect, and even in those same rounds, they didn't have the same effect on Cotto as they did 3 years ago. And we can't stress that much more. We can't stress it much more. It is what it is. But Miguel Cotto fought the perfect fight, fighting on his toes, circling around the ring, setting up his punches, by using movement, and even driving Margarito back, tying up. He actually clinched in this fight, stood in front of Margarito from time to time, but wasn't necessarily in there to try to kill the man. He was just in there to try to get points, try to get his shots in, and just fighting, fundamental, simple boxing match. And of course, in New York City, Miguel Cotto fans, they're gonna react more to Miguel Cotto punches than to what Miguel Cotto does compared to what Margarito does. But in this fight, Miguel Cotto was landing solid punches compared to most of the arm shots and jabs that Margarito was throwing. Miguel Cotto used his movement to kind of turn him around and just set up those punches. Overhand, whether it be the left hook, overhand right, stiff left jab they threw very good in round 8. And there was a moment where his head collided right into Margarito's eye. Don't know if it was dirty or not. Who cares? I don't care. Don't know if anybody else does either way. But that's pretty much the match. Miguel Cotto dominated using movement, turning Margarito around, setting up his punches. What more can you ask for? Miguel Cotto did a great job in this fight. And Margarito's career is pretty much over, because with his eye being as fucked up as it is, I just don't think that he can go in against opponent like a Josh Clottey who's trying to come back himself and have some solid connects on that eye. He might be able to come to Texas and do a few fights with some fringe contenders out here or something like that, but his days as a top level competitor is over. As simple as that. 154 is a great division. You have lots of young talent in that division. He might be able to get away with fighting like a Yuri Foreman or Volak or Rodriguez or someone like that. But his days as a top level competitor are over. It's that simple. Miguel Cotto got his win, avenged his loss, and to me, I think that the question was answered despite the fact that Cotto fought pretty much a different fight. And also in the first fight, he was beating him to position and landing. But, like I said, there were moments in the fight where Margarito was hitting him with the same punches, and it just didn't have that much of an effect on him. So it is what it is. So Anyway, peeps, let me know what you think. Was justice served? Was it poetic justice at all? Are you convinced that Margarito cheated? Did Margarito not cheat? Let me know. Anyway, peeps, I'm out of here. That was Distance. Thanks for watching. You guys have a good night. Peace.